Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're focusing on a profoundly transformative section of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13. We're going to be unpacking two massive concepts, the field and the knower of the field. Let's really settle in and take our time with this, because honestly, the philosophical insights we're about to explore are just as deeply relevant today as they were thousands of years ago.
Okay, let's dive right into this. How do we find stillness in a world of constant, unrelenting agitation? I mean, it's a question we all face, right? Whether you're navigating a super high-stakes career, managing a family, or just trying to find a shred of peace in modern society, that struggle for inner clarity is entirely universal. And what we'll see today is how this ancient text actually provides a surprisingly direct, highly logical answer to that very modern struggle.
To help us logically navigate these profound ideas, we'll use a straightforward framework of clarity. We'll kick things off with Arjuna's quest, move right into defining the field and the knower, then we'll explore the mechanics of entanglement, apply all this wisdom to modern life, and finally, wrap the whole thing up with our key takeaways.
Starting with Section 1, Arjuna's quest. You know, if you ever feel overwhelmed by the sheer complexities of life, you are definitely in good company. Even the great warrior Arjuna, who was standing in the middle of a literal battlefield, needed clarity. He poses a very specific question to Lord Krishna. He says, Prakriti and Purusha, also the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna, all these I wish to learn. Basically, he's seeking a practical toolkit to decode reality. He really wants to know what exactly is matter, what is spirit, what is this field of our everyday experience, and who is the one actually experiencing it.
And Krishna doesn't hold back at all. He gives a beautifully direct answer. He points right to the human experience itself and says that this body right here is the field, the kshetra, and the conscious witness that's experiencing this body, that quiet awareness lingering behind your thoughts and senses, that is the knower, the kshetrajna.
Moving on to Section 2, the field and the knower. So we're shifting into the real core teaching of the chapter now, doing some of the heavy lifting of Vedantic philosophy. And this brilliantly illustrates the dynamic between the two. Think of spirit or Purusha like electricity, and think of matter or Prakriti as a light bulb. Now, the bulb itself is just inert equipment. It literally cannot manifest light on its own. But when the electricity of spirit blesses that bulb, it illuminates. The pure spirit itself has absolutely no physical expression until it interacts with the material world. So let's contrast them directly. On one side, we have the field, the kshetra. Now, this isn't just your physical body. It actually includes your emotions, your passing thoughts, and the objects you interact with every day. It's a constantly changing landscape. On the flip side, we have the knower, the kshetrajna. This is your objective, perfectly calm, witnessing awareness. It's pure knowledge, completely untouched by the random fluctuations of the mind.
Which brings us to Section 3, the mechanics of entanglement. Now, you might be wondering, if we are this pure, untouched witnessing awareness, how in the world do we get so tangled up and stressed out by our daily environments? Well, it begins with the concept of the jiva. A jiva is simply spirit functioning through a living organism. If you mentally undress man of all matter, of all those physical and mental layers, what remains is the eternal, infinite spirit. But the moment that spirit starts functioning through an organism, a very strong sense of individuality is born. And this flowchart shows us exactly where the problem starts. It's called avidya, or ignorance. Ignorance basically acts as a false connection between the pure spirit and the inert matter. The ancient texts use this great metaphor. If you place a red flower next to a completely clear crystal, the crystal appears red. It isn't actually red, of course, it's just reflecting the flower. Because of ignorance, we think the mind's agitations are actually happening to our true self. We essentially identify with the reflection. Verse 21 clarifies this beautifully. It states that Prakriti, or nature, is responsible for generating our physical circumstances, the cause and the effect in the material world. However, it is the Purusha, the spirit seated within, that actually experiences the resulting pleasure and pain. Simply put, nature does the doing, the localized spirit does the experiencing. But here is the massive paradigm shift, the really profound revelation Lord Krishna offers in verse 3. He declares that the consciousness behind you, the individual microcosm, is the exact same consciousness behind the entire universe, the macrocosm. The knower in your field is the exact same knower in all fields. Fundamentally, at the level of spirit, there is absolutely no separation.
Section 4, Wisdom for Modern Life. So how do we actually translate these massive metaphysical concepts into a grounded toolkit? Like, how does knowing about the field and the knower help our emotional intelligence and our daily decision-making? Well, what's really interesting here is how Krishna defines knowledge. He doesn't define it as memorizing a bunch of facts. In verse 8, he starts listing qualities: humility, unpretentiousness, non-injury, uprightness. These ethical behaviors are presented as actual prerequisites to experiencing the infinite self, because you cannot clearly witness the knower if your field is constantly clouded by ego and cruelty. Across a few verses, he outlines 20 specific qualities of a jnani, an enlightened person who possesses true wisdom. And it's so important to realize these aren't just moral suggestions to be a good person. They're a stabilizing framework. Cultivating things like steadfastness and self-control reduces the static in your mind, which makes it infinitely easier to step back and just be the pure witness. And among all these qualities, verse 12 highlights the most important one of all: constancy in self-knowledge. This right here is the ultimate medicine. True knowledge means constantly engaging with this awareness of your true self, continuously reminding yourself that you are the witness. Anything opposed to this inner clarity, anything that drags you back into total identification with your passing thoughts, is quite simply ignorance. Section 5, Key Takeaways. We've covered a lot of really profound ground today, so let's consolidate everything we've just absorbed. This recap lays out the crucial distinction logically. The kshetra, the field, represents your body, your mind, and the world. Its very nature is to be changing and perishable. The Kshetrajna, the knower, represents your eternal spirit. Its nature is sentient, witnessing, and totally imperishable. The ultimate goal is to use your body and mind as a means, as tools for experience, rather than seeing them as the absolute end. Doing this naturally fosters a deep sense of detachment and equanimity. So, the absolutely crucial point is this: understanding this distinction isn't just dry theory, it is the practice. True meditation is the process of mentally undressing from matter, of actively peeling back the layers of the field to recognize your true identity with that eternal spark of life. It's the direct path to liberation and absolute spiritual stability. I want to leave you with a question to carry into your day. When you feel stressed, when you feel completely overwhelmed by the agitations of life, ask yourself, in this exact moment, am I identifying with the passing field, or am I resting as the eternal knower? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this deep dive into Chapter 13 has provided you with a powerful new lens for inner clarity. Stay tuned, because coming up next, we're going to be decoding Chapter 14, where we explore the three gunas, the very forces that drive the mind's behavior. See you then.